great occasion to be here in Odessa. Having during the war even your Odessa humor, sense of humor, and we in the Baltic, we tried not to laugh when the Russians are laughing, even looking to their films. But Odessa anecdotes was always in our mouth. So we accepted in the Baltic, that was about, if you allow me a little bit before to say our acceptance. Baltic countries will never ever recognize Crimea, even our Americans will ask us to do. And we were 50 years occupied and in the West never ever recognized Baltic occupation. If you remember, Ambassador, our embassies were functioning in Washington, D.C. on 16th Street, producing passports, and we tried to distance ourselves, being envy to Finland that they lost only 26,000 lives, Russians 126 in November 39, but they survive, and we not. So in this case, people came to the idea that better to die in the Baltic, better to be on the side of the battlefield and not to see themselves later in Gulag, in Siberia. I think we will soon have the names of battle under Kiev or battle for Kiev in every place in Europe. And I will be proud opening such place in Vilnius, like a Kiev battle place. It's not less historical like battle under Warsaw, if you remember, killing Tukhachevsky's and Stalin armies in the 20s. Miracle on Wisla. Now we have miracle on Dnieper. So I would like to say, first time together with you, President, on this important discussion, and would like to mention your visit to Vilnius when Lithuania led European Union. And I will say something about European Union policies when we just decided to ask Yanukovych, ask leadership of Moldova and Georgia to sign European Union Association Agreement. And I never believed that Yanukovych will sign that. So I can imagine we created parallel conference with dear President Petro, with Boris Tarysyuk, Mustafa Dzhemilov, and Vitaly Klitschko, and other our European friends saying, preparing to say the word impeachment. That was our underground activities against Yanukovych. And he was, facing 31 delegation, can you imagine, in huge place. He was running with his phone and saying, I'm speaking with him, with President Putin. He's not allowing me to sign the agreement, association agreement. Can you imagine? Our red faces. And then on parallel conference in Lithuanian parliament, Petro Poroshenko, Vitaly Klitschko said, impeachment. Impeachment to our president. Well, we are Europeans. If he's not, he can go away from European Ukraine. That was a magnificent moment, and I would like to say thank you for doing this brave step and declaring Maidan in Vilnius. That was... Maidan started in 3 days after 28th of November and the beginning of December 2013. Now Lithuania will lead again in 27 European Union, and we are preparing, of course, our concept, how to make quicker Euro integration. A lot to do with juridical system and of Ukraine and how to close the chapters, chapter after chapter. But we will try to be less bureaucratic, more, of course, scrupulously looking to your homeworks. At the same time, I would like to go back to general our expectations from Kiev side. Not looking who will be in power. In 27, we are expecting, Mr. Ambassador, that Kiev will be more global, less domestic, based on your interference together with the European Union in Africa, Latin America affairs, not Pacific affairs, not letting Russian FSB to make their influence in every corner in the world, but being global with us together, well, we are taking, like your ambassador just said, responsibility to lead democratic world. In this time, we still have this, let's say, romantic human rights idea that solidarity first, not France, not Britain, not United States first, not Lithuania, not Ukraine first, but solidarity among democratic countries should be first. And that idea that Kiev will play not regional but a global role is not romantic but real. We cannot lose the war in Latin America, 650 million people. Through Cuba, Russians are using all their information channels, disinforming countries starting from Brazil, ending with Chile, and of course Venezuela. We should stop the disinformation in Middle East among Arab countries. We should stop their disinformation in the Pacific. Lithuania makes step, you know very well, Mr. Ambassador, we recognize Taiwanese mission. We make a step saying no to European Union-Cuba agreement. We block that. It was last country, Lithuania, but we say no to that. While Cuba is playing a role the same like in the 60s, in one synchronous way with Moscow, and their intelligence working together. So we're trying to be with you global. Small countries who survived 50 years of occupation, and now, Mr. Ambassador, we were looking 1 week ago in juridical forum. Can you imagine, President, 1 week ago in the juridical forum, the advisor to the president, actually not a president, not elected President Putin, juridical advisor declared that Soviet Union exists. And they brought to the last swap, if you saw on TV, last swap, the red flag, tricolor and red flag of Soviet Union. I'm sorry, I was in negotiation with two governments, Moscow, Boris Yeltsin, and Soviet Union in Kremlin, from Lithuanian side. I would like to say, they are saying that our agreements from 91 are not existing anymore, and the war between Russia and Ukraine is internal war of Soviet Union. This surreal Franz Kafka and Orwell mixture should be stopped, and that means we should be battle ready. They're declaring they're ambitious, that Baltic states is in the line, and we are ready to react to that together with Poland, of course. So in this case, we are extremely lucky to say that Germans moved their army to Baltic states. Merz was just a few days ago opening the 1st Brigade, who will be stationed in Vilnius. Secondly, I would like to say about this balance you just mentioned between Baltic Sea and Black Sea. Yes, we do have this balance, but this balance looks a little bit ironic. 3 days ago, when Estonian military fleet stopped in the economic waters from Estonia, a Russian, very suspicious vessel, probably from the same shadow fleet, Russians set their military jet above the Estonian fleet who were stopping this. So in this case, we have no war in the Baltic, and NATO fleets are actually prevailing in the Baltic. Sweden, Finland is in NATO. Baltic is mostly taken by NATO countries, but we should find in the Baltic the possibilities to stop their fleet like it was done by Finnish military force just a few months ago. And we should find a method, not being in war. We are not in war. We are with Ukraine, but we are not in war with Russia. How to use our standards, stopping the destruction of our cables inside of Baltic Sea, and thinking about this question we just raised, how to deal if some ceasefire will be in place and Russians will again establish their fleet in Simferopol and other places. So I think we should think about how to bring NATO fleet inside of the Black Sea, how to bring our military troops of willing countries to Ukraine, and how to be ready to grant you independence if NATO membership will be temporarily frozen, but European Union will be waiting for you, and I think in a few years you will be members. Thank you.